Some of the greatest warriors you can ever think about in a team go to fight a monster in the forest. They no doubt feel they will win the fight, especially since they feel the monster doesn't sound like a good fit for them. However, upon getting to the mountain, the situation proves not to be the same. The head of the warriors gets injured. He sits to check the amount of injury he has gotten, and he sees that it's so much that he can't feel his legs at all. Despite his situation, he still believes the battle is theirs to win. He sees one of the warriors running toward him. He calls out for the warrior, Dale, and asks him where the other warriors that they had brought to the forest are. Shockingly, Dale tells him all the warriors are all dead. That sounds so much like a joke to him. He can't believe his ears, leaving Dale to further tell him that their warriors didn't just die. They all died at the hand of that monster that they were fighting. He refuses to believe his ears. He asks Dale to stop with the bullshits and reminds him that the average skill level there is level 40, and none of them is an unskilled warrior as they are all very professional. He refuses to believe that a team of professional warriors could be killed by just a demon. He tells Dale there is no way a naked psycho could kill all the warriors. Just as he speaks, he feels breathing leaving Dale's body. Then he sees the monster has sent some spikes at Dale to kill him. He wonders what's going on. At that point, he no longer feels the monster is too weak to oppose them, and he is overpowered. He screams at the monster, asking him who he is. The naked monster thinks about the reply to that seemingly simple question but bothering one. He tries to remember who he is, and he remembers that he is a player in a virtual game called AC. He is fighting a demon king, and he is more like the only one who is surviving, with emphasis on surviving because he is also in the blink of death. He has taken so many injuries, and he fears that he will die. He was initially a great player. He is Battle God Damien, a level 904 Field of Honor rank 1 knight. He holds his injury to ensure it doesn't worsen and sees that he is too weak. His system starts giving him notifications about his weakness. His system notifies him that he is in an abnormal state and his character has fallen into a state of weakness, and all his stats will be decreased. He receives another notification that his character has fallen into a state of bleeding, and again, all his HP will be decreased. He gets the third notification. The system tells him that his character has fallen into a state of sealed, and he can't be able to use any skill again. He screams. He wonders if there were so many abnormal states in the game he is playing. He receives another notification that his character has fallen into another state of petrification, and his character will be slowed. Looking at all the injuries his character has incurred, he comments that not even Saint Magnus or the High Heaven Immortal will be able to heal him at that point. The Demon King, King Arthur, who is the expedition leader, comes to him. He sees how weak he is, and he is amazed that despite how weak he is still holding on. Arthur says that Damien is still holding on and Damien is like a cockroach, and he will applaud him for that. Damien gets angry at Arthur. He directs his anger to the monster who had fought him in the first place and calls the monster a bastard. He tries to fight again, but Arthur looks at his weak self, wondering what he is going to do. Damien gets another notification from the system saying his stamina has fallen below the threshold and he may be logged out. Damien screams before he gets suddenly logged out. He asks Arthur why. Arthur asks if he wants to know why he has done all he did. Before Arthur could answer the question, they get a notification that the Lord of Abyss, Abraxas, is raising his mana. They get another one. That the Lord of Abyss, Abraxas, is attempting super generation, and then they get another notification that the Lord of Abyss, Abraxas, is attempting the 7th demonic. Dao style. Looking at the entire situation, Arthur comments that it was all just getting fun for him. He screams at Damien, asking him how dare he, and they get another notification that the ultimate multi-leveled weather reversal realm destruction has been activated. Damien uses the ultimate power on Arthur, and the impact of that power is so great. Damien looks at how great the power works, and he says that the ultimate power is so impressive, and no matter how many times he has seen the power being used, he is still always impressed by the power. Arthur looks at him in an annoying manner. He makes a comment about humans. He says humans have their individual positions, and he goes nearer to Damien and hits him on his stomach. Damien falls on the floor, holding his stomach and groaning. Arthur tells him that a loser like him should always remain a loser, and should live like a loser, and garbage should also maintain their position as garbage and live like it. He says the lower class should also learn of their class, and they should live by it, and he doesn't know how a loser bastard like Damien could have become a hero. He says Damien becoming a hero is a serious mistake. He looks at Damien, asking him what he thinks about such mistakes. As Damien is about to close his eyes to death, he looks at Arthur. He wonders where things have gone wrong for him. The whole issue started about 10 years ago, when the first ever virtual reality game was released, the game named Arceus Chronicles, which is popularly called AC. The game was awesome, and everyone grew to like the game immediately. The game pulled people into it with the lifelike graphics in the game, which makes it look like the players are playing in real life. It also has lovely NPCs. These qualities make the game the talk of the town, and everyone is interested in it. After each event in the game world, they get rewards. He gets the mission to defeat the Demon King. The event was by the Demon King raid, and he offered that the first person who cleared the quest will get the ability to establish a kingdom and also become the AC World hero. That is not all the rewards to that mission, as the first to clear it will also be rewarded with an astronomical trophy. As you can imagine, the reward is too many for anyone to reject, and all the players of the AC game are interested. All the users put their all so they will be tagged the hero of the AC world. The quest isn't an easy one, but there has to be just a winner regardless. Out of all these AC gamers who are gunning for a chance to win the quest and also take the rewards of the quest is him. He became a game addict and a game junkie. He has no other life but this game, and he remembers when he tried to tell his brother, Jinsung, that he also wanted to live, and his brother told him to go away. He remembered Jinsung telling him that he is just a game addict and he shouldn't even call himself a brother. With all these words echoing in his ears, he dedicated his entire life to the AC game world. He pours all his life into the game for 10 years. As you can expect, his family indeed tried to discourage him from doing that, but he didn't listen to any of them at all. That game was his entire life, and for someone who has dedicated his life to a game, he needed rewards to at least console himself and make up for his wasted life. It was at that point in his life that he met King Arthur. In real life, King Arthur's real name is Jeong Yuman. He is a servant of the goddess Arya, and she possesses the infinite circle, which gave Arthur endless power and mana. When he met Arthur, Arthur led the expedition with his warm personality and his great charisma, and it was only thanks to Arthur that they were able to reach the dungeon of the Demon King's castle for their mission. In the present, Damien keeps struggling to survive. He pacifies himself that there is only a little more left. Arthur laughs at him. He tells him that he guesses that the world needs more people like Damien, and he says it was only all thanks to Damien that they were able to beat the dungeon and even kill the Demon King. That means they all went to the dungeon to fight, and they even won the mission. Damien asks Arthur if he was planning to betray him from the start of the quest, and Arthur laughs and tells him yes. There is nothing that is more hurtful than betrayal, and Damien is really hurt. He hits his hands on the floor, knowing that there is no way he can get revenge for what has happened to him. Arthur continues to explain how much he had hated Damien. He calls Damien a piece of trash and a useless parasite. He confesses that he didn't like Damien from the start and Damien should just die. He screams that Damien should die and calls him a bastard. While lying on the floor at the last point of his life, Damien wonders if that is indeed how he will die and if he will die because of a traitor without accomplishing anything. His heart is filled with regret and wishes to revenge, and at that point, he hears the system asking him if he wants to revenge. He isn't sure of what he is listening to, and the system explains further that he understands how Damien feels. It turns out the voice he is hearing is that of the Lord of the Abyss, Abraxas. He says that he is an old evil and he is the Lord of Abyss, Abraxas, and he will continue with the old evil progress. Arthur sees that Damien is still struggling to survive. He wonders if Damien still has strength and comments that Damien is really persistent. The Lord of the Abyss, Abraxas, says that he will kill the goddess of light, Arya, and he is appointing himself to avenge Damien. Arthur sees that Damien is still alive. He says he will crush Damien's skull, and he does as he is threatened. The Lord of Abyss, Abraxas, says that he is appointing Damien as the one who will bring upon the second coming of chaos to the land. Immediately after that statement, a light shone forth. Damien suddenly wakes up on a bed, and he screams. He wonders what has happened to him and tries to stand up from the bed. He sees that he is in his room in the real world, and he wonders what he is doing there. His brother comes to call him, and he calls him by his real name, Hyung, asking him to come and eat. Damien doesn't know what is going on. He knows the person in front of him is his brother, and he tries to confirm if that's really his brother, Jinhoon. Jinhoon doesn't know why he is asking that kind of obvious question. He asks Damien what he is talking about. Although Damien knows that he is his brother, but he also knows Jinhoon should be in the military as he is now a military officer, so he doesn't understand why Jinhoon is putting on a school uniform. Jinhoon feels he is confused about something and reminds him that he is the one who told him to wake him up that morning. He tells Damien that he has only done as he has been asked, and he leaves the room, slamming the door right after him. As he leaves, Damien tries to think of what is happening. He wonders if he has really gone insane. He sees the calendar on the wall beside him and sees that day's date is Tuesday, 28th of July 2020. He remembers that is around the time that the game Arceus Chronicles beta was released, and he wonders if he has indeed gone back to the past. Jinhoon returns to join the family at the table for breakfast. His mother asks him if he knows why his brother is behaving like that, but he says he also doesn't know what is wrong with Hyung. I believe that since he is no more at the game, it's preferable we refer to him by his real name, Hyung, at this point. Hyung joins the table, too. He eats, and he feels tears coming down from his face. He has dedicated about 10 years of his life to the game, and he doesn't know what family care and attention are any longer. He cries and says it has been so long since he had home-cooked meal. He comments that his mother's food is the yummiest in the world. That memory makes him recall the memory of when they were still kids. Back then, his mother was still young and healthy. The memory he remembers makes him feel exhausted, and he comments that he has eaten for so long already. Jin-hoon notices that he is looking angry, and he asks him what is making his blood boil. Jin-hoon tries to research what makes the heart beat faster, while Hyung feels its swords, magic, and a world of endless adventure. Jin-hoon sees the advertisement for the game, and they tell him it is a grand narrative for him and the world's first virtual reality game, so he should play now. He doesn't understand what the advertisement means, and he obviously looks confused. Listening to that advertisement, Hyung mentions AC, that's the popular name for Arcia Chronicles. However, the pronunciation of AC in the English language is the same as pronouncing "off fuck" in Korean. So when Jin-hoon hears him mention AC, he asks him what he means and if he had just said "off fuck." Hyung argues with him. He asks him what he means and says he isn't saying "off fuck." Instead, he is saying the name of the virtual game. He repeats to Jin-hoon that he is just mentioning the name of the game. But Jin-hoon says that he is crazy. Jin-hoon goes nearer to him to punish him for using the F word. He pinches his face and tells him the word is freaking dirty, but Hyung isn't bothered by that. He keeps thinking about the fact that that day is the launch of the open beta of the Arcia Chronicles. He leaves his mother's house, and his mum sees him off outside the house. He tells her that he is going to his personal house, and she advises him that he shouldn't push himself too much and that he should also remember to call her anytime a lot of times. He hugs her and reassures her that he won't forget to call her before he enters the car. Before leaving, he tells his mother that she shouldn't forget to take care of her health too. After he addresses her, he speaks to the taxi driver and tells him to drive him to Jumjeong Station as fast as possible. In the car, he gets the perfect time to think about what has happened to him. He realizes that they are indeed 10 years into the past. They are at that time when the Galaxy M24 app was not a brick but instead was the best capsule. He also remembers that period of time was the hardest in his life. His father was bedridden, and he worked like crazy to take care of his bedridden father and his other family. That was one of the reasons he had become a game junkie. It was because he couldn't bear the weight of being the family head, so he had escaped into the world of virtual games, and he cut off all connections with his family. He wonders how he could forget those hard times in his life. One may wonder if he will take his second chance at life as an opportunity to correct his wrong decisions and right his wrongs, but the game world doesn't give him any opportunity to do that. He gets a notification that the system is activating. He wonders what is going on, and before he processes that, he gets another notification that the countdown for the game launch has started, and the launch will be in 167 hours, 59 minutes, and 58 seconds. Also, the system warns him that if he doesn't log into the game immediately after the countdown ends, he will die. He screams, he wonders what is going on with him, and says he hasn't even logged into the game yet, so why are they forcing him to log in? He heard the Lord of Abyss, Abraxas's voice in his head. The voice isn't clear because he is not in the game world, but the voice echoes in his ears over and over again, so much so that he has to close his ears. However, the voice seems familiar to him, and he claims he is sure he has heard the voice before. He keeps holding his ears and head, and the taxi driver gets concerned. The taxi driver asks him if he is fine and what is wrong with him. Left with no other choice or reality, he goes straight to the shopping plaza to get the game. He arrives at the Sinsadong Garasu Gil Plaza and goes to the virtual reality electronics store there. The attendant notices the way he is behaving, and she asks him if there is something that he is looking for that she can help him with. He tells her yes and tells her he is looking for the game, but she replies to him that all the store's capsules are purchased on reservation-based service. She tells him that if it's alright with him, he should think about taking their customized examination. He tells her he is okay and begs her that even if they won't sell to him at a discount, she should please give him the game they are releasing that day. She is shocked that someone is offering to buy a game that hasn't been tested, and she immediately tells him to follow her to the inner part of the store. She shows him one of the products and tells him it is a refurbished product that was cancelled by another customer. She further explains that the product is used as the store demonstration product. He immediately tells her that he will take the product even without trying to check how it works. He gives her a card and asks her to put the money on the card. She is shocked that she has experienced a buyer like that, and she wonders if he is a young master from a rich family. She tells him that delivery and installation of the goods will be done in the afternoon, and he tells her he is fine with that, so he makes his way outside the store. They eventually delivered the goods later that day, and immediately it gets to him, he registers. The system notifies him that user registration has begun, and the system fully registers him as Ma Jin-sung. Then the virtual reality mode starts its synchronization. While he sits in the capsule for his synchronization, he regrets buying the capsule. He says he has used most of the money he saved but feels there is nothing he can do about it. He starts feeling the virtual world. He claims that he is certain about everything now and everything is coming back to him, including the system windows. He remembers that voice, and now that he is in the virtual world, he remembers the voice certainly belongs to the Lord of Abyss, Abraxas. The system notifies him that his virtual reality mode synchronization is complete, and he has successfully connected to the virtual game called Arcia Chronicles. The system asks him if he will like to start the game, and with anger in his mind, he screams start. Meanwhile, at the Arcia Chronicles headquarters, they get several systems warning that the mainstream has been detected. They also receive another warning that the Arcia Chronicles main protocol blocking has been accelerated. The office is located in San Francisco, California, USA, and the staff at the Evertail headquarters top secret department, Oracle, wonders what's with the red signals on her system. The staff, operator Chloe, is shocked. She screams and asks what is going on. She addresses all the employees in the Oracle department and commands them on code black. She repeats her command to ensure they all hear it, they check their computers, and they see the red signals. They are also shocked because they don't know what is happening. They scream that it is an emergency, and they need to quickly take action. Chloe calls the team leader, and the team leader runs there with the speed of light to find a solution. He is the head of Oracle, named Kim Hyokjin, called Master Hyok. He looks at the red signals, and he asks Chloe when it started. She tells him it has just started, and they also don't know the cause of the red signals and code. They get another notification that the Akashic record of blocking protocol is gradually accelerating, and Chloe fears that if that continues, they may lose control. At the mainstream, the Akashic record is a hyper AI that created the AC, and it's an unknown territory that is yet to be explored, so Hyokjin and Oracles are to watch it to ensure that nothing goes wrong, but if something goes wrong, it is enough to erase the entire system, which is, of course, the whole game. They get another red notification that the right of control over the mainstream has decreased to 48%. Before they think of what to do, they get another notification that it has decreased to 36%, then another one that it has decreased to 25%, and the Akashic record has started to eat away at the server. Hyokjin commands Chloe to give up their control over the main server. She calls his name to be sure that he knows the decision he is making, and he tells her to quickly do all that he has commanded as they can't afford to lose the entire AC. Since Chloe isn't responding, he goes ahead to do it himself. He hits the button, and the system notification changes from emergency red to blue. The system shows him that the Akashic record has been removed and has also paused all the blocking protocols. Then the main system starts activating. Hyokjin says that the activation is starting already. On the other hand, Hyun connects to the game. The game remembers his name to be Damien, and he records his connection date to be the 29th of July 2020. Damien finds himself at the Whispering Island in the virtual world, and he gets the notification welcome to Arcia. He is shocked that he indeed returned to the game. He remembers his 10 years of memory of that game and, of course, his enemy who has caused his death, Jeong Human. He also recalls Human's last words to him that every human has their own place in the world. An insect should act like an insect, and a commoner should act as a commoner, but bastards who failed in their life are becoming heroes. He says that Damien becoming a hero is just a system mistake. With that anger in Damien's heart, he promises himself that he will ensure he finds Human and destroy him. He threatens that when he finds Human, he will ensure that not even his ashes are left. He claims he will make sure he forever regrets planning the game. He looks around, but he doesn't know where he is. He asks where that place is as he feels he should be staring the game at the beginner's village. He gets a system notification that his connection log has been confirmed. He gets several red notifications that his countdown has been initiated and his test has started. The system tells him that there are 3 conditions to the game, and the first is that if he doesn't log into the game within 168 hours, he will die. The second condition is that when his game character dies, he will also die in the real world, while the third condition is that if his character doesn't complete a goal within the time given, he will also die. He screams about what kind of condition it is, and he asks what is going on. He feels echoes in his head again, and he wonders what is happening to him. He gets another system notification that his sense limit has been removed. He struggles on the floor as he receives another system notification, but this time, it's a blue notification that his removal of sense limit has been completed. He gets his final goal, which is to ensure the Demon King's descent, and he has 87,599 hours, 59 minutes, and 58 seconds to get the mission done. He feels his body getting weak, and he wonders what the damn game has done to his body. The system keeps giving him unwarranted notifications, and he receives another notification that a class will be given on the condition of the final goal, which is the witch doctor. He thinks of what the witch doctor means, but he really doesn't know. It's at that point that he remembers who witch doctors are. They are weird-looking characters that use primitive powers. They are the closest to death, and they use ancient sorcery and curses. Their identities are veiled by a mystery, so they believe death is salvation. He screams fuck when he remembers what he will be reincarnated as. He gets his status notification. He is in level 1. He is in the witch doctor class. He has 0 affiliation, and his alignment is 9,999,999, while his title is an atrocity. His strength, HP, agility, intelligence, talent, and luck are all in level 1. He looks at the stats, and he says they are all trash, and on top of his horrible stats, he also has poison as a subclass special attack. He looks at the stat, considering that they are hidden and no one else can see them except him. He still feels the stats are trash, and it doesn't befit a person like him. Suddenly, he gets red signals again, and he wonders what is happening again. The system tells him that he has committed a crime, and his alignment is now very low, and an alignment penalty will follow for his crimes. He looks at the number on the alignment. It's 9,999,999. He screams that it is only possible for him to get such numbers if he has killed around 1 billion of people. He wonders if what he is looking at actually makes sense and says it must be a bug in the system. He receives his list of penalties for the crime. He will get a 500% fall in experience points upon death, a 500% increase in the probability of dropping items. Upon death, a 500% increase in the probability of equipment being destroyed. Upon death, nullification of the safe zone's shield, and finally he will be attacked by NPCs. He scratches his head, and he is almost at the point of crying. Everything happening to him in that game world doesn't seem real, and he sees that the penalty will be deeming him to be the Demon King. He feels he has received a second chance at life to set things out for himself, but this second chance he has also gotten is also putting his life at stake. He doesn't know what to do, and he knows several characters will try to fight him, so he wonders if he should cover his face so they wouldn't see him or know him. So he decides to cover his face, and he becomes the naked demon the knights have fought at the beginning of the story. He covers his face with a piece of paper. Then he goes to Dunbayton village. At the village, he meets the village head, Elmore, who welcomes him, saying that he is the adventurer who has just arrived in their world. When Elmore sees his face, he is shocked at the paper bag in his head, and he asks Damien why Damien is wearing a paper bag. Damien tells him that he is putting on the paper bag because it is cool, although Damien knows it's because of the risks of seeing his face. Elmore is afraid of him, and in Damien's mind, he feels that if it is not because of the stupid quest that he has been given, he also wouldn't need to put on a paper bag. Elmore decides to accept him that way, telling Damien that he accepts his tastes in fashion. Damien tells him that the most important reason he has come to the village is that he wants to request a quest. Elmore tells him that the Whispering Island is filled with chicks, but the problem is that they have eaten all their food, and they have no food left for them in the storeroom. He tells Damien that his quest will be to capture all the chickens in the Whispering Room. Trying to do the mission he has been given, Damien goes to the mountain behind Dunbayton village. At the mountain, he tries to find the chick, and when he sights the first one, he throws an arrow at it and kills it. However, after killing it, he gets tired. He sits and remembers that he has just 1 HP. His system shows him a notification about his quest and reminds him that his quest is to catch the chickens. He has just arrived at the continent of Arcia, and he is to get rid of all the chickens on the Whispering Island so he can protect the storehouse. That quest is a tutorial quest, and he is to catch 10 chickens and retrieve 10 feathers. His progress is 10% because he has just caught 1 out of 10 chickens, and if he finishes the task successfully, he will get Elmore's beginner set and also Elmore's recommendation. He is angry that he has just caught 1 chicken, and he goes to his skills to see if there is a skill he can unlock that will make his work easier. When he checks, he sees he has just 1 skill, which is the shooting of poisonous needles. He is worried that there is no help for him since he can only use 1 skill, and he can only learn to use other skills when he reaches level 10. He stands up to continue his mission as he has rested well to regain his powers. He continues in the forest to find the chicks. He claims he knows how to use his poisonous needles now, so he will use them properly. He sees another chick, and he kills it. He keeps finding chickens, and he kills killing them. After killing a chicken, he will gain 1 experience point. In reality, Jeong Yuman wakes up at the Yushin building, and he comes out of the pod. The installer asks him how the pod is, and he tells him that the virtual world is not as bad as he had thought. He asks the installer how much the pod has sold in the world, and the installer tells him that the virtual game was sold out in almost all stores in just a day. He comments that he thinks the state of the virtual world will change within a week. He receives a call from the director, and he walks away to pick up the call. He asks the director if he has prepared what he asked for, and the director replies affirmatively. He says he has prepared the most suitable class for human, the fastest way for him to level up, and also the type of item and equipment in the game. He tells Human that he has prepared everything Human needs for the game, and Human appreciates him for what he has done. As Human sits, he says it is time for him to turn around the virtual world, and he tells the director that he will call him back. Human is the third grandson of the Yushin Group's president. He is a pro gamer of the AOS's game, The Tempest of Time and Space. His nickname in the OSC game is King Arthur, and he is Damien's main enemy. In the game world, Damien keeps defeating the chickens. He eventually catches 10 chickens, as his quests have said. He immediately receives a notification that he has leveled up and he is now in level 2. He is glad about this and he is deeply moved. However, his stats remain at 1 point and he has 5 remaining stat points. He is shocked that he has gained 5 stat points. He knows that they are only rewarded with 2 points when they level up. If you gain 3, it is only because they have an opus class or they have a great character. He wonders if the reason he has gained 5 stat points is that he has a hidden character. He is glad about that thought and says it isn't as bad as he thought. He returns to the city to deliver the remains of his quests, and as he knocks at the door, he screams that Human should wait for him and he is coming to shred Human into pieces. He runs to the city to deliver the report of his quest. He runs there and he scares the villagers. He hits one of the villagers on the way. The man sees him with his paper bag head and the man gets scared, asking what he is. It calls the attention of the other villagers and they all wonder what is with him and the paper bag on his head. One asks if he is the village tamer, but another replies to him that there is no way the man will be a tamer because tamers aren't allowed to raise a single strong familiar. A lot of roasters chase him. The villagers comment that at the rate he is doing, he is going to die very soon. He keeps running from the roasters, and when he sees that they have gathered around him, he wonders what he should do. He says that if he wants to clear Elmore's quest, a gathering of roasters, chickens, and hens around him is the best way he can do that, and it is just like a play. He goes to where they could follow him too. He wonders if it is somewhere like that. He creates a trap for them, and they all gather around him to fight him. But they don't know that they have entered into a trap. He says that they have been caught and they should prepare to turn into his experience points. He defeats all of them at once, and he gets a system notification that he has defeated the hens, and he has gotten loads of experience points. He also receives another notification that he has defeated the roasters around, and he has gotten more experience points. Following the chicken extermination, he reaches level 9 immediately. He is glad about how fast that it happened. He says that if he keeps it up that way, he could be able to reach level 10 and be able to acquire a new skill. He receives another shocking notification that because he has participated in a battle, his XP has increased by 1. Meanwhile, in a nearby forest by the village, another character in the game, Chial Minjeng, finds a hen in the forest and he defeats it. He receives another notification that he has defeated the hen and has gotten an experience point. He is glad at how fast he is growing and he is so amazed. He is on that mission with a friend and colleague, user Dongqial. Dongqial tells him that what they are doing is too easy and he wonders if it's for real, while Minjing says that he is enjoying the experience and it is so sweet. It turns out they have more colleagues, Namsu and Jinseng, join them. They also comment that the AC game is so sweet and the game has nothing on them. They find a dead chicken on their way, and they say that they don't know who has prepared that feast for them, but they will feast on it gracefully. They comment that things like that taste better when it is someone else. Minjing levels up to level 7, and his colleagues ask him if he has leveled up again. He comments that the way they are going, they may become rankers soon. Damien, who is the owner of the hen, arrives behind him and asks him if he is really enjoying it, and he replies to him that he is really enjoying it. Damien hits him. He faints immediately. Minjing gets a notification that the hit has reflected on his status and his character has fainted. He gets a notification that he may not be able to control his character for some seconds. His colleagues scream his name and they try to wake him up so they can leave. Damien speaks to them. He asks them if they are the ones that ate the roasters he had killed. He tells them that they have the opportunity to spit out his roaster before it is too late for them. Instead of them to accept the guilt of what they have done, they shout at Damien. They ask him what the fuck he is doing and who told him they were the ones that ate his stuff. They tell him he shouldn't accuse them unless he has proof that they were the ones, and he should bring out his proof. He gets more angry at them. He calls them brats and asks why they are lying when he has enough evidences that they are the ones who ate his stuff. He asks them if they really want to die and says he has given them their last chance to tell him the truth, so they should spit out his stuff while he is still asking them nicely. He commands them to spit out what they have eaten and get lost from his side. Minjing eventually gains control of his body. He can't accept what Damien has done to him, so he stands up to fight back. He calls Damien a son of a bitch and he tries to hit Damien. Damien isn't concerned about their bluff. He gives them another opportunity to do the right thing, and he tells them that he has warned them, and since they have refused to hear, he will do what he wants to do. He attacks them, and Minjing asks his colleagues to fight back and kill Damien. Damien hits all of them without wasting much time, and they all get injured. And he reminds them that he had told them earlier that they should spit out his food. But they refuse, and that's the punishment they are serving. While struggling on the floor, they look at Damien, and they wonder what kind of person he is. They think of whether or not he could be the Demon King, and the party members get a notification that one of their party members, Dongxiao, has died. They look at Damien, and they wonder if he can be one of the chaotic users in the game. If he is indeed one of the chaotic users, then there is no way they can all survive. They bow to him immediately. They feel the only thing they can do to survive is to run, and they start running. Chaotic users in the game are users who specializes in PK, which is player killing, and if the party has indeed met with a chaotic user, it is obvious that they will die soon, as these users are synonymous with criminals in the game. Instead of allowing them to with what they have done to him, Damien doesn't chase them. Instead, he uses his flute to make a sound, and the sound poisons them. The two survivors of the team fall. Their notification shows them their status, and they see that they have been poisoned. Damien walks to them and he asks them what they are going to do now that they are in that situation. When he gets nearer to them, he sees that one of them is missing, and he asks them when the last one of them went to. Minjing has run away like a coward. He goes to another side and tries to log out of the game, but the system notifies him that he can't log out of the game when he is in an active battle. He hides in the bush as he keeps crying. He gets a notification that he has 300 seconds left until he logs out. He screams. He couldn't have imagined that they will come across a chaotic user in their adventure that day. Damien gets to Minjing, and he greets him. He hits him with his poisonous arrow. After successfully defeating them, Damien gets a system notification that he has acquired 58 yellow feathers and also 47 white feathers. He has also acquired 47 basic HP portions. He looks at the victims that he has killed, and he says that killing them has yielded him better results than he could have expected. He receives another system notification that he has gotten to level 10. And if you recall, he has been wanting to get to level 10 so he can acquire more skills for his game. He received another system notification that he can now use a new skill, which is to control the dead skill. He may also now use the Bloody Impulse skill. He can also now use the Corrupted Elixir skill. Also, he can also now use the Voodoo Doll skill. He is so glad about his new achievement, and he says he can now use all the skills that were locked until level 10. He checks his skills, and he sees that they are still locked. He is confused, he wonders what is going on, and he sees a red system notification that he has committed player killing. PK, and his alignment has decreased, so his current alignment is 9,999,999,999, and he has no additional alignment for the system to decrease. He looks at all the notifications and says he has reached rock bottom. He looks at the status to see what can help him. He sees a shitty skill. He says that even shits can be useful sometimes. He sees the title Atrocity, and he thinks of what it is used for. Atrocity has several effects, which include a drop rate of items from victims of PK plus 500%, the drop rate of gold from his victims of PK, which is also about plus 500. It also has the power to automatically possess assets from the victim of PK, and also automatic possession of the X from victims of PK. He looks at the skill and the benefits of it and says it's just like cheating. However, he feels that is good for him. He leaves there, and he says he looks forward to leveling up faster and better as the game continues. After killing his enemies and leveling up in the game, he goes back to reality. He visits a convenience store to buy some food. He takes his orders to the receptionist to cash out, and the receptionist expresses his concern about how much convenience food Damien is buying. The boy tells him that if he keeps eating convenience food and buying that much, he will get sick. He tells the boy that he is okay, and the reason why he is buying that much can't be helped, and it is because he is a bit busy at home. He asks the boy to stop nagging and tell him the price of everything he has bought. The boy tells him that what he has bought doesn't cost much. He asks Damien to put his money back into the purse as he will pay for it. When Damien looks at the prices of the things he has bought, he sees that it is over 50,000. He feels bad, and he doesn't want to leave without paying. He tells the boy that the price is over 50,000 and he should at least pay, but the boy refuses. He tells Damien that he should just buy him a drink next time, and it will be fine. Reluctantly, Damien accepts. He attempts to leave the store, and he overhears the news. The newscaster announces that the youngest player, Jiang Yuman of the Tempest of Time and Space, has set to retire from that game. Upon hearing the name, Damien knows that it is his enemy. The newscaster continues and says that Yuman has revealed the fact that he is no more interested in a basic game that requires a mouse and keyboard to play, and the next game that he has selected to play isn't the current virtual reality game, AC. Upon hearing that news, Damien runs back to the receptionist. He mentions Yuman's name, and the receptionist asks him if he knows Yuman, and he doesn't know how to answer the question, so the boy tells him that Yuman is a pretty famous boy. He says Yuman comes from a conglomerate, and he is tall and handsome, and he is also great at gaming. He tells Damien that Damien will be considered a spy if he says he doesn't know about that popular boy. Damien returns to the virtual game world, and he goes to a forest that is near the Dunveton village. He goes to kill hens as usual, and as he kills them, he remembers again that Yuman is coming back to the virtual world. He kills all the hens he has to kill that day, and he gets a notification that he has leveled up to level 15. He feels the fact that Yuman is coming back means that he can't afford to slack off, and he has to ensure he levels up well before Yuman arrives. He feels he needs to become much more stronger than he is. He looks around for his next quest and says he thinks his next quest is around there. He opens his system, and he confirms that his next quest is the Predator of the Whispering Island. The class of the quest is epic, and he is to defeat the mutated wild boar and bring back the hide. His progress is on 0, and as a reward for that quest, he will get Elmore's recommendation. He sees that his last quest on that island will be for him to kill the mutated wild boar, and if he can complete that quest, he will be able to go to somewhere else based on Elmore's recommendation. However, he has a problem, and the only problem is that the wild boars have a tendency to migrate frequently, which makes it impossible for him to find out their real location and locate them. Also, if he doesn't find the boar's lair within an hour, he will have to wait for the next 1 hour when it's the respawn time. As he looks around, trying to find the lair, favor shines on him, and he finds the lair. He screams that he has found it, and he walks towards the place. The boar is a wild boar, and its species is of a wild beast. It's of an elite type, and it is at level 30. When Damien sees that the boar is an elite level 30 boar, he knows that the boar will be much stronger than him, and if he mistakenly lets his guard down, he may die there. There are several monsters that exist in the AC world, and the current ones are categorized into normal, elite, named, and champion. The normal ones include the hens and roasters that he has been killing since he got to that world, and the elite ones are the wild boars. The named are much stronger than the elite class, while the champions are the strongest of them all. However, among all the classes, the elites in the higher class have special characteristics. They are 8 in each of their 3 categories, which are attack, defense, and also crowd control, and they have about 24 variations. Damien thinks of the skill he should use to combat that kind of monster, and he decides to use the corruption elixir, claiming that the skill is alright for now. He feels he can use the characteristics of the skill to win. Suddenly, he hears some sounds, and he sees the boars coming to him. He watches him and says hi to him. The boar immediately sees that he is an enemy, and he tries to fight him. He also asks the boar to come nearer and fight him. When the boar gets nearer to him, he throws the corruption elixir at him and tells him that it is his welcome gift. He watches as the elixir injures and weakens the boar, and he comments that the boar doesn't have physical immunity. The boar is also not summoning any other monster, nor is it with any magical immunity, nor does he have a defensive barrier. He feels something is wrong, and he gets a notification that the boar's defense mechanism has corroded, and the wild boar's defense has decreased. He comments that the corruption elixir that he has used is working well, and he even says that it is not much to the wild boar. The boar tries to garner his remaining power, and he attacks Damien, although Damien dodges the attack. The attack is a close one, but Damien luckily dodges. Damien sees that the attack is close, so he also tries to walk away a bit. The boar doesn't want to relent. The boar keeps screaming and attacking him as much as he can, and Damien charges back to be safe. Damien comments that the boar is charging at him like a simpleton, and that is so typical of a dumb beast. Suddenly, he sees a high blue wall erected between himself and the monster. He isn't familiar with something like that, and he wonders what it is. He asks the air what the wall is, and he wonders why the wall had popped up in front of him out of the blue. He noticed that the boar didn't have any notable characteristics, and seeing the wall that had popped out, he wonders if the boar's characteristics is wall formation. The wall blocks Damien's view. He can't see what is coming at him, which makes it impossible for him to dodge whatever is coming at him. The boar sends a thunderous attack at him. Seeing it coming from afar, he couldn't run, and the attack hit him. His body flies separately from the paper bag on his head. He returns from that attack, and his face, which now has fire due to the effect of the attack. He calls the boar a fucking pig. The system notifies him that he is using another skill called zombification. It's a level 1 skill, and its attribute is a corpse on a passive level. He tries to know more about the skill, and the system notifies him that when his HP gets to 0, he will transform into an undead, and for 600 seconds, his HP will not fall below 1. When he is in the state of undead, he will emit the plague aura, and any opponent that is within 3 meters radius around him will be poisoned and bleed. However, when that skill is activated, no other skill can be used, and his cooldown seconds remain at 1800 seconds. His body hurts from that attack, but the boar isn't relenting despite how it looks like Damien has almost died from the attack. Damien gets angry at the boar and he calls him a pig again. He runs to the boar threatening to kill him. He says he is dead and he wages a poisonous attack on the boar. He gets a notification that the boar is bleeding and it is poisonous. On the other hand, he also gets a notification that his zombification has 10 seconds left. He believes that 10 seconds is still enough to destroy that beast. He tries to use another skill called Plague Aura with the aim of punching the beast to death. He threatens that he will beat him into a bloody pulp. He gets a reminder notification that he has just 10 seconds left, and the seconds begin to count down. It reduces to 9 seconds, then 8 seconds, then 7 seconds. He sets his Plague Aura, hoping that with that skill, he will be able to finish up the beast immediately. His countdown reduces to 6, then 5 seconds left. He hits the boar with his hand, and the boar falls off. His countdown reaches 4 seconds. He bends down to the boar and finishes it off. His countdown reduces to 2 seconds, and he also gets a notification that he has successfully defeated the wild boar, and he has earned exp. He levels up immediately, and the system shows him that he has leveled up to level 16. He screams, and he is glad. His countdown reduces to 1 and eventually 0. When the zombification ends, he gets weak, and he falls. He stands up and exclaims happily that he has won the fight. Immediately after he finishes, the system notifies him that he has obtained the wild boar fang, and he has also obtained the wild boar's hide. He also gets the wild boar essence, and he gets 30,000 gold. He sees another notification that he has obtained the title He Who Killed the Wild Boar Alone, and he has also cleared the quest, The Predator of the Whispering Island. His rewards make him feel so excited that he forgets the stress and difficulty he passed through when he was trying to defeat the creature. He feels he has gotten to hog all the rewards, and he has also cleared the quest. He checks what the title is about, and the system shows him that the title He Who Defeated the Boar Alone is given to someone who defeated the champion of the Whispering Island, the wild boar alone. The skill increases the strength of its owner by 3%, and also his movement speed by 3%, and his characteristic resistance by 1%. He comments that the title is a clear solo title. He also decides to check the items he got from that fight. He decides that he will give the hide he got from the boar to the Elmore, and as for the fangs and essence, he thinks of what to do with it, and he hears someone speak behind him. The person calls him a peculiar bastard. He turns to see who is speaking. The person calls him another world adventurer who rose again after death. The man says that he is a very peculiar one. He walks nearer to the man and asks him who he is, especially since the man knows everything about him. He comments inside of him that the man looks like he has lived for uncountable millennial. He sees that the man is human, but doesn't know his age and level. His system tells him that the man is quite ill-tempered and he should watch so he wouldn't be killed. He is shocked that he can't see the older man's information on his system. The man goes nearer to him, asking him how he is able to move as a dead person. He wonders what the man is talking about, and the man goes to put his hand on his head. He fights back, asking the old man what he is doing, and the old man tells him that judging from the small rune on his forehead, he is no doubt an otherworld adventurer. He begs the man to keep his distance from him, especially since he can perceive the foul odor that is coming from the man's body. The man looks at him mysteriously and says no wonder. He repeats that he can now see what is happening, and Damien looks at him, asking him what he is seeing. The man asks him if he borrowed the power of darkness to reincarnate again. But Damien doesn't understand what he means. The older man says Damien has used the power of darkness to become undead momentarily, and the man says what he has done isn't bad because he won't die so easily when he becomes undead. The man suddenly feels a bad spirit in Damien. He wonders why an otherworld adventurer is harboring a power of darkness that is equivalent to the Demon King. He wonders how the man has found out everything he is saying, and he asks him. The older man tells him that he can see everything clearly. Damien has been asking his system for more information about this man, and luckily, he gets a system notification that more information has been updated about the strange man. The system says he will display the information, and Damien wonders what kind of information can be there. He eventually sees that the older man is Charon, the priest of the apocalypse. He is the representative of the forgotten god Shaka and the chief of the black cult. He looks like he has lived for uncountable millennials, and he is currently looking for a talent to defeat Aria, the queen of the gods. His species is human, although his age is still unknown and his level, too, is unknown. The old man is ill-tempered, so the system warns Damien to watch out so he won't be killed. Damien wonders what the priest of apocalypse means. He wonders if it is a sort of pseudo-cult. It seems like Charon can hear his thoughts. He asks what Damien means by a pseudo-cult, and he introduces himself as Charon, the seventh chief of the god, Shaka, and says he will be spreading the gospel of the apocalypse over the land after he destroys the despicable queen of gods. The man tries to come nearer to Damien, but Damien tells him to wait. That anger Charon, and he says that he thinks he has to teach Damien a lesson. Damien begs him to hold on. He already knows how fearful and strong Karen is, and he doesn't want to get to his bad books. When he tells Karen to hold on, Karen tells him to shut up. Karen prepares his hand and attempts to hit Damien, while Damien wonders what he has done that is making Karen charge at him. As Karen's attack almost hits him, he screams and calls Karen a crazy old man, and he tries to dodge the attack. He dodges it successfully, and he sees as the fire that comes from Karen's attack destroyed the whole mountain. He is shocked. He wonders what the hell is with that destructive power from Karen. Karen looks at him and comments that he had managed to dodge the attack, and Damien replies him to that. Of course, he has to dodge the attack unless Karen wants him to die. Karen looks more challenged. He calls Damien a lively bastard and says that if Damien can dodge the first attack, Damien should see if he will be able to dodge the next one. Inside of Damien's mind, he says that Karen is a senile old man and a seriously insane one, for that matter. He feels he won't be able to dodge the second attack, and he tries to think of what he should do because he doesn't want to die. He sees a notification on his system that Karen, the priest of apocalypse, is displaying hostility towards him, and the mainstream Karen trial has been activated. He receives another quest from the system, and the system tells him his new quest is Karen's trial. The system further tells him that the representative of God, Karen, has taken an interest in him, and he must try to survive that senile old man. The class of the task is mainstream survive Karen, the priest of apocalypse, and his progress is 0. However, the reward for the quest is unknown. The system gives him a caution that the quest can't be deserted, which means he can't run away from it. He screams he hasn't received a mainstream quest before, and he wonders why he is getting one in that crazy state that he is in. Mainstream quests are only provided to a few selected users, and they are quests that are of great importance, and they determine the future of the game. Depending on the action of the user who gets such quests, the world of AC may be completely changed. The effects on the world from the user's execution of the mainstream quests are incredible. He wonders why he has gotten that quest, and he also asks himself what Karen has to do with mainstream. Karen doesn't know the kind of information he has gotten, and he assumes that Damien is only standing there because he doesn't know what to do. He comments that Damien is standing like a dumb log and asks Damien why he is just standing there. He runs toward Damien, who also tries to run away. Damien runs, saying that Karen is no doubt an extraordinary man. He remembers that when he was the battle god, there was a time the mainstream quest activated on him. The quest that activated that day was for him to defeat Abraxas. Along with those 6 masters, including Arthur at that time, they entered into the worst dungeon in the history of E-game, which is the Dungeon of Abyss. When they got to the dungeon, he tried all his best to defeat the dungeon at every moment, and eventually, he faced the Demon King, Abraxas. If he hadn't cleared that mainstream quest, the middle world would have been destroyed. He knows so well that mainstream quests are easily the most important quest in the AC game, so he feels he can't run away from that quest. He feels if the situation is really related to the mainstream, then he must clear the quest no matter whatever happens to him. Karen keeps coming in full force. He sees that Damien isn't making an attempt to fight back, and he asks Damien if he is dilly-dallying in front of him. He comments that Damien must be really insane, and he jumps at Damien. Damien looks at him, thinking of what he should do. He activates the Bloody Impulse skill. He feels he isn't in a situation where he is allowed to think or to calculate, and he admonishes himself not to think or calculate. He says that starting from that moment, everything he must do must be according to basic impulse, and he must approach the fight with utmost sincerity. After initiating his basic impulse, he plans to follow what his impulse tells him. However, he keeps running away. Karen gets angry. He calls him a bastard and asks him how long he will keep running. Karen runs after him and hits him on the first attack. The velocity of that attack is so great that Damien says that when it is not the case that Karen is a martial artist, he doesn't understand the reason Karen is that strong. However, he holds still. He says that he can see Karen's movement better than before. Karen tries to kick him with his leg, but before the kick lands on Damien, Damien dodges it. He remembers that the mainstream quest didn't ask him to kill Karen. The quest only tells him that he needs to survive Karen's hits, so he decides to keep running. He feels that if he keeps stalking for time, he should survive. He keeps running and dodging, and the fact that he is able to dodge Karen's attack angers him more. Karen decides to do harder than before. He tells Damien that he wants to see if Damien will be able to dodge the next attack. When Damien sees the velocity of the attacks coming, he screams. Karen sends the attack to him, telling him that he should die. Damien finds it difficult to escape that particular attack. It seems impossible for him to escape. Karen sends the fire at him and he burns. Luckily, he doesn't die. He catches the fire and he enters zombification. He couldn't use his body for a while, and later, his system notifies him that he has 2 seconds left. Karen is shocked that he is alive. He couldn't have expected him to survive that kind of attack. He compliments Damien, telling him that he has a great body, but Damien says his body is in no way near the one Karen has. His system count down to 1 and 0 seconds and his zombification ends. He is happy that he didn't die from that attack, as he had expected that he was going to die. Suddenly, he gets a system notification that he has cleared the quest for Karen's trial. Karen sees that he can still talk, and he says that Damien's mouth is still alive. He asks Karen if he knows why he has obtained the opportunity to come back to life. He tells him it is because he wants to live life to the fullest. Karen stretches his hand forward and helps Damien stand on his feet. He asks Damien if what Damien means by the opportunity is the fact that he obtained the demon's power, which is the power of darkness. Damien tells him yes. He asks if Karen didn't notice earlier. Karen laughs and tells him that he had noticed immediately he saw him. He says that there is no way he, the chief priest of the 7th god, Shaka, won't recognize that. Damien doesn't know what 7th god Shaka is. He asks Karen, and Karen tells him that the 7th god, Shaka, is the best god of Assyria. He is the lord of darkness and apocalypse. In Damien's mind, he thinks about Shaka and how he can be the greatest god when he is incomparable to Arya. He thinks about the gods of Assyria. The great gods include the supreme goddess, Arya of light, Phoenix of fire, Nysa of water, Tennysil of the tree, Oriental of iron, and Crowd of earth. Those are the 6 great gods that he knows, and he doesn't know how and when Shaka joined them. However, when the system describes Karen to him, it indeed describes him as the chief of Shaka. He feels there is no way the system will lie to him, and he just has to accept that Shaka is also part of the gods. He tells Karen that he has heard. Karen tells him that now that he is ready to listen, he will just go straight to the point and tell him what he wants from him. Damien ridiculously looks at him, wondering if he is now ready to go straight to the point when he was the one who caused all the ruckus between them in the first place. Karen looks at Damien and asks him if he doesn't want to become stronger. He says that he has heard that otherworldly adventurers long for fast growth and strength. Damien admits that everyone who comes from the other world as an adventurer really wants growth and strength. So Karen offers him a great offer, and he asks Damien if he would like to become his disciple. Although that offer may look like a great one considering what he has gone through with Karen that day, it doesn't look like he will be interested in serving under him. He immediately turns his back on Karen and tells him to have a nice day ahead. Karen gets angry at him. He calls him a spoilt brat and asks him where he is going off to. Karen hits him to bring him back, and he turns back, calling Karen a senile old man. When Karen hears that, he calls Damien arrogant. He tries to explain to Damien why taking that offer will be the best for him. He tells him that the power of Lord Shaka is so great that it is absolutely unfathomable. He hits him on his head again, telling him that if he becomes his disciple, even a trash like him will be able to become an absolute ruler. Again, Damien refuses his offer. He asks Karen if Karen will believe himself in his situation. Karen asks, and he says that if Karen thinks about it, he is and only suggesting that he becomes his disciple. Karen feels he is asking for a confirmation of his power, so he tells Damien that if he must know, and then brings out a book. He tells Damien to take a look at the book, and when he does, the system shows him that the book is the Apocalypse. Invocation, the Book of the Black Covenant, and the book is radiating a faint light. Damien asks Karen what the book is. He immediately gets another mainstream notification that he should encounter the 7th god, and he sees that the quest has been activated. Karen tells him that a book is a divine object and the only tool that can allow him to meet with the 7th god, Shaka. Damien wonders why and how he will be meeting the god, and Karen tells him that he should just open the book. He wonders why he should do that, but he reluctantly does so, telling Karen that it is just a normal book. However, when he opens it, Karen tells him that he shouldn't make any further movement. He turns to look at Karen, wondering what is wrong with him, and sees Karen holding a big stick. He sees that he is attempting to hit him with it, and he wonders what he has done wrong. Karen indeed hits the stuck, and everywhere goes dark. He opens his eyes sometime later and finds himself inside a hole. He isn't even thinking of his location first, as the first thing that gets him annoyed is that he doesn't know why Karen has done that to him. He asks his system for his current location, but he doesn't see anything. Later, the system notifies him that a new location has been updated. He doesn't know what is happening, and he assumes that Karen has sent him to the underworld so he can meet Shaka. He is angry at Karen for doing that, and he threatens that he won't let Karen get away with what he has done to him when he returns to the world. Suddenly, he sees a small-looking kid in front of him. The kid comes to his front and confronts him. He looks at the boy, wondering what is wrong with the young boy. The boy keeps dancing. He screams at them and tells them to stop fooling around. He asks them where he is. The boy comes nearer to him and smells his body. He tells him that he smells good and his scent is familiar. He smells himself, wondering what is familiar in his scent. The boy tells him that he likes him and he wants to become his friend. He looks at him, wondering why he wants to become his friend. All of a sudden, the boy gets angry and he asks him if he doesn't have any friends. The boy denies his accusation. He says that he has friends, and he has many friends, for that matter. He says that his friends like him and he will give Damien a friend too. Damien really doesn't understand the boy. He asks him again if he is asking to give him a friend. The boy points ahead and shows him his friend. When Damien looks in that direction, he wonders what he is seeing. He sees that the friend the boy is talking about is a chick, not just one. Dozens of chickens, they all run toward Damien to welcome him. He looks at the boy, giving him a face of what the hell is wrong with you. The boy tells him to see his friends and even brags that his friends are amazing. Disappointed, Damien looks at how pathetic the boy looks and tells him, yes, his friends are really amazing. The boy asks him again if he will like to be his friend. Since the boy is really insisting on the friendship, Damien accepts him. He brings his hands forward and they shake each other. The boy tells him they are now friends. Suddenly, Damien feels weak. Damien wakes up in the world and finds himself with Karen, who comments that he is finally awake. Karen asks him how he is feeling. Damien gets angry at Karen for sending him into the underworld. He calls him a senile old man and tries to fight him. He goes nearer to Karen and tries to strangle him. Karen screams that he should leave him alone, but Damien reminds Karen that he nearly killed him, so why should he leave him alone? Karen lets go of his patience and decides to fight Damien back. He hits Damien and asks him to leave him alone. Immediately after that sudden hit, Damien gets a status effect notification, and the system notifies him that his character's condition is critical, and that until he has recovered his strength, his character won't be able to move. He notices that his eyes are closing, and he screams not again. He wakes up later, and again, he wakes up in front of Karen, who welcomes him. Damien holds his head. He recalls that he had fainted because he had hit his head on Karen's head, and he asks Karen if his head was made of rocks. When Karen asks what he has said, he knows he may faint the second time if he dares to repeat what he has said, so he tells Karen that he didn't say anything. He looks at Karen and thinks that he is a really senile old man. He says that although Karen may look homeless, he is incredibly strong, so he needs to swallow his pride and just obey Karen if he doesn't want to lose his life. Karen asks him what happened in the underworld. He wonders what Karen is talking about, and Karen says he is talking about Damien's encounter with the seventh god, Shaka. Damien narrates to him that Shaka had asked them to become friends. Karen says that he supposes that the friendship between them doesn't matter, and Damien asks him what he means. He repeats to Damien that Damien said Shaka asked them to become friends. Damien replies affirmatively and tells him that he is friends with Shaka for now. Karen explains to him that friendship is a relationship of brotherly affection, and the meaning of the hand of friendship that Shaka had stretched to him is that Shaka internally decided that Damien should be Karen's successor. Damien refuses to believe that. He asks how friendship became being a successor, but Karen refuses to answer him and tells him all he has to do now is to follow all he does. Karen happily walks away screaming, and Damien wonders if what's happening is alright. As he considers whether or not the decision he is making is alright, he receives a system notification that the mainstream quest encounter with the seventh god has been cleared, and looking at it, he assumes he is indeed making the right decisions. Karen tells him to take a seat, and he asks Karen if they are going to meditate. But Karen tells him no and says he wants to tell him about their future plans. Damien is really confused about everything that is going on. Karen explains to him that the plan is from a long time ago, so Damien assumes they want to tell him a story. Karen starts the story. He tells Damien that there were initially 7 gods in that land. Thanks to the god of creation, area of light, and the god of apocalypse, Shaka, the circle of life and death was well balanced. But one day, as if Arya was afraid of Shaka's power of destruction, she approached the other 5 gods. She advises them that since Shaka's power is more than enough to shallow their power, why don't they restrict Shaka's power? Although all the gods have different opinions about that act, they all can't deny that Shaka's power is huge and it can swallow their power, so they ultimately accept Arya's advice to restrict Shaka's powers. Since they were all afraid of Shaka's power, they wish to possess the power for themselves. As a result, a war begins between Shaka and the other gods. The heavens shook because of that war, the earth split open, and that war waged for a long time. Even though Shaka was the god of apocalypse and he was very powerful, he really couldn't single-handedly battle about 6 gods on his own. Eventually, Shaka was defeated. He left everything else for his family, and he fell to his eternal slumber, maintaining only his divinity. As a result, the 7th god becomes forgotten by everyone, which is why Damien can only remember 6 gods. Damien assumes that Karen is part of Shaka's family. Karen continues his story. He says that after Shaka's disappearance, the 6 gods were at rest, thinking that there can be no one else who had the power to threaten them, and from that point, the world became evil. Because of Shaka's absence, those who should have died recused to stay dead, and that was his demons were born. Damien realizes that the source of all darkness was Shaka, and he was actually the pillar of balance that kept everything in place, and it was as a result of the absence of Shaka that evil was created in the world. He eventually understands what Karen has been explaining to him. Karen further tells him that for thousands of years, he had roamed around the continent so he could see to the resurrection of the god he serves and to find a powerful force to defeat Arya and the other 5 gods. He feels the reason he had roamed around the continent for a long time was for a day like that day. He tells Damien that from that moment, he will become his disciple and also the sword of Lord Shaka to defeat the 6 gods, including Arya of Light and all their families. He asks Damien if he can do that mission. Damien gets a system notification that another mainstream mission titled Karen's Wish has been activated. The system asks Damien if he would like to accept the quest or reject it. He thinks about everything, the forgotten god and the vengeful sword which has been sharpened for so many years, and an agent who will carry out their plan. He remembers that Jiang Yuman, his worst enemy, is also from Arya's family, so if he accepts the mission, he will be carrying out his own revenge along with Shaka's own. He clicks on the system, and he accepts the mission. He feels accepting the quests can't be a bad decision from his side because he will be having his own revenge and also the resurrection of the 7th god in order to defeat the 6 gods. He feels it is a very important quest that he can't reject. Immediately he accepts the mission. He bows to Karen, asking him to accept the bow as his master. Karen is impressed. He smiles and says Damien is definitely worthy of being his successor. Damien gets a notification that he has formed a relationship with Karen, the priest of Apocalypse, and he has also acquired the title of an agent of revenge. He says that now that he is done training with Karen, he can now happily defeat Yuman. Karen tells him he is going, and he bids Karen goodbye. However, he remembers something and screams that Karen should wait. Karen waits and asks him what it is. He asks Karen if Karen doesn't have anything new to teach him, like a new skill. However, Karen asks him what he is talking about. He says that he has already made Damien his successor and has told him their mission, so his job is done. Karen brings out the book and throws it to Damien. He tells him that if there is anything he wants to know, he should look at the book. Also, he should try not to look for him. He opens a portal, and he is about to leave. Damien screams his name asking him to wait, but Karen leaves him with the book and goes away. Damien receives another notification that he has received a quest. The quest is Karen's Wish, and the mission is to resurrect the god of darkness, Shaka, and defeat the 6 gods and their families who rule the land. The class of the job is mainstream, and he has made 0 progress. The mission has about 6 submissions with the names of all 6 gods. He looks at the list, wondering if he has to do all that by himself. He screams to himself, wondering how the hell he will complete the mission. He wonders if that is a mission that is possible to clear and if they are talking about the 6 gods and their families. It also includes his comrades who defeated the Abraxas with him and the world's most elite and most powerful, which are the Crimson Agnes, the Siren of the Ice, Halo of the Mind, Cyrus of Steel, and Luke of Boulder. They are the families of the most powerful gods, and they are disaster class. Out of all of them is the one from Arya's family, Jiang Yuman, the Radiant King Arthur. He was praised as the god of magic after receiving the infinite mana item called the Infinity Circle. Damien wonders if he can really defeat Yuman and also his comrades. He gets nervous, but he reassures himself that there is no need for him to be scared. He remembers that he was once almost dead, but at that point, when he thought it was the end of him, he received a golden opportunity to come back in time. So with that strength, he decides to conquer the quest. He determines that he will finish the quest and end the ill fate. He receives several notifications, and he sees that he has acquired the Apocalypse Innovation, the Book of the Black Covenant. He also sees another notification that a new clause has been added. The clauses include Return to the Village, Oracle, Rune Page, Item Appraisal, Disassembly, Synthesization, and Creation. He gets another notification that, due to his low level, a section of the clause has been deactivated. He gets several notifications and sees that all the clauses that have been added to the book have been activated. He wonders if that is the all-in-one multi-item that he has heard of before, and he sees that the item is a scam item that has various abilities. He looks through the book, and he sees that the items do. He says that it is a good thing that he looked through it. He comments that luck is following him in that mission, and there is no way he will fail. He feels there nothing is stopping him, and he decides to test some of the abilities in the book. He asks the book to disassemble an item, then he uses Synthesize, and lastly, he uses Create. Suddenly, the item gets created, and he gets a notification that the item has been created. The item he has created is the Wild Boar Helmet, the helmet of the Voodoo Cult mask type. Its class is Witch Doctor and his rank are common. He sees the HP power and stats of the helmet, and he sees that the helmet is created from a giant boar head, and simply wearing that hat will pressure his opponent. He finds out that the hat will add 100 HP, 50 magic power, 10 defense, and also +3 to all other stat he has, and he wonders if that is the best option he has right now. He tries to think of the worth of that item. In the global game trading site, which is called the Game Bank, 100 AC gold is equal to $1, and a wild boar head is usually worth about 500 gold. He feels it is great that he can make witch doctors exclusive items, and he imagines that if he keeps creating items like that when he has no money, he will become a hobo straight away. His first plan is to give the leather to the village head. He goes straight to the village, and he gets to the village head. He shows the boar to Elmore, and Elmore wonders if he really caught the boar by himself. He tells him that he certainly caught the boar by himself, and that is the boar's leather. Since he has finished all the missions from Elmore, Elmore tells him he will write him a letter of recommendation. He says that Damien isn't someone who should remain restricted on that kind of island. He writes the letter, gives it to Damien, and asks Damien to go to the harbor on the very east of the island, and he should take a boat. That way, he will get to the main continent. He gets a notification that he has obtained Elmore's recommendation, and Elmore tells him to show the recommendation to the branch head at the Adventurer Guild. Damien collects the letter, appreciates Elmore, and goes to the sea. He sits and waits for his boat, and while waiting, he checks his stats. He is now in level 16. His class is that of a witch doctor. He has 0 affiliation, and he has 3 titles. He has several stats and skills. However, he is much concerned about his level. He isn't proud that he is at level 16, and he says that he has a long way to go. He notices the title Agent of Revenge and checks what the title gives. He sees that an Agent of Revenge is a person who has been chosen by the 7th god, a god with an unknown power. He sees that his rewards from that title are all 100%, and he is shocked. He says that the title is literally telling him that he should do player killing. However, he says he doesn't like killing people. He still feels the 7th god thing is like a pseudo-religion. He hears someone calling out, and he checks. He sees a person crying for help and asking him to save him. He sees some mages coming toward the man, and one of them tells him that he should have obeyed when they were talking to him. He says that the man just needs to pay, and there is no need for him to make it hard for them both. Damien looks at them, and he sees that they are killer mages. Killer mages are mages in the game who use their overwhelming power at the beginning of the game to go around and PK. The man says that his mood has turned dark, but he isn't a bad person. Damien stands up to look at them, and having given them a more better look, he sees that they are indeed killer mages. The man insists that if his victim pays, he will let him go. Damien sees that the mage is quite skilled, and he is blocking the dwarf with just 20 people. One of the men he is talking to decides to fight back and brings out his weapon. The mage blocks him immediately, wondering who he is. Angrily, Damien activates energy bolts. He screams at the mage that he can't win. One of them goes to fight Damien. Their head mage says that Damien, who is their guest, is leaving, meaning that they will kill Damien, and they will send him off well. However, he turns to watch the fight between Damien and his subordinate, and he sees that Damien has beheaded the man at a go. They scream and wonder what kind of person Damien is. He sends his other subordinate to fight Damien, and at that point, Damien activates his boar head. They wonder who Damien is. He goes to them and also tells them they have to pay up the price of their lives. He says he will give them 10 seconds, and if they want to live, they have to pay up. And that's how the first part of this Manhwa ends. Well guys, if you like this video and you want a second part, comment below with the word part 2. Also subscribe to the channel, hit the bell and like the video. But most important, leave a comment. Until the next video.